Welcome to another beautiful morning. In case you're just joining us, well, this is the news review. It's a pleasure to have you. Avi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Tired already? No, I'm not tired. I'm good. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, but I am tired. I mean,
You shouldn't
yesterday
be.
we were all talking about how draining everything is getting. Sometimes even just hearing news about, oh, another person has bitten the dust, got COVID and all of that. It drains you. And I was mentioning as I introduced the show on the back of Kwete's documentary, you know, the pieces put together. Sad incident. A friend contacted me recently and it was all about, oh, she needed someone who could perform a certain role in a certain situation for her. And I was thinking, then later she said, oh, it's for my mom's funeral. And it hit me. I was like, when did this happen? To cut a long story short, her mom has a certain comorbidity. Recently, something happened, an amputation had to happen. They take her to hospital. And guess what? Through the negligence of the hospital, her mother gets COVID. Now, mind you, I just said she has a comorbidity. So within a very short period, she's gone. And my friend also contracts COVID. But she just doesn't want to go through the wrangling of court and everything, because this is actually someone who's a legal person. She just doesn't want to. But these are things happening. And people, pregnant women and all, are being exposed to... I mean, you don't go with one thing to resolve and then walk away with even more wahala.
Yeah, absolutely. But we have a big challenge. There was some known person who also put out there today, was it yesterday, that she had been looking for a facility where she could take a COVID patient
with
or
a
person
ventilator.
with COVID-19
So
with
she
ventilator.
was...
Exactly. And she had been searching, so she had to put it out there on Facebook, I guess, hoping that somebody would, step in and help. The reality, Ben, is that the facilities are not enough. So Kolibu, for instance, and when we get to that matter, we will talk about it, because they don't have a place solely for that. And
even the designated centers, you would see, 15 beds,
yeah,
10 beds, and the rest, for those that even have any designations for COVID. So it means, I mean, looking at the numbers we are putting out, obviously, you probably wouldn't even get, a bed if you needed it in some dire situation. And Mama, we have the case count for today. Maybe you could walk us through that.
So 702 new cases. We're still hovering around the 700 figure. I think we came down just for 2 days, and we're back with the 700. Current active cases, 7,866. Not good. I'm just trying to bring, in terms of the severe and the critical cases, where we are with that. But these are the figures. If this doesn't scare you, I don't know what else would. There are people sharing their everyday stories with us. And later on, when you watch Kwete's piece, where can you imagine that you actually don't have COVID, and you are pregnant and you're in the hospital, but you're sharing the space with persons
who has
exactly.
COVID. And especially when now we're very worried about the trend. You know, last year, at the very outset of COVID, we were not sure, because we're still learning about the virus. We're not sure whether it was transmissible to children and all of that. Even now, there are doubts about it, but we are seeing children days old, a few days old,
11
months
days old,
very young, getting it. So there are complications, and you can't take any risks. So if the mother gets it, and God forbid, if the mother becomes a casualty, and if a C-section is not done quickly to save the child, you could have 2 casualties just because of someone's negligence.
Oh, there was a recent story, and this is not just a story because it happened to somebody that I know, a friend's friend. The woman died. They had to take the baby out premature. Yeah, because of COVID. So, listen, we have 86 severe cases, 29 in critical condition, and as you've seen, the death figures have also gone up, 561. That's it.
COVID, no, before we delve into the papers, COVID is real. Don't take it for granted. Last night, one of my many mothers called, and guess what? She also has it. 71 years old.
Oh, no.
But she's tough as nails, but the thing is, you just don't want to get it. The symptoms, the things she's saying, you just don't want to get it. I don't know how to say this enough, but trust me, you don't want to get it. Let's delve into the papers now.
I will do the Daily Graphic, the Finder. I've got the Daily Statesman and the Business and Financial Times.
Right. Any more?
The Ghanaian Publisher is the other paper that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Ghanaian Times Daily Guide, the New Publisher, the Custodian, and the Daily Dispatch are those for me. Those are the ones.
Okay. So if I may, the Daily Graphic newspaper, front page of the Graphic today, you can't reopen case, Supreme Court tells Mahama, time to tax Momo proceeds, Esla Owusu Ekufo. And then roads dualization in Often, Minister designates assures. Yesterday he was going on and on about the roads, and then the critical question, the money to fund what you're talking about. That one went on for quite a bit, and that's where the increase in the toll thing came in. But if you go to the...
Right before you go, I just want to pick your brains briefly on that. Way back, I tried really to get, for example, how much exactly we get from those toll booths, the major ones, every day. I couldn't get a specific figure, but the ballpark figures I got, when I put them together and multiplied them by the number of days in a year, huge sums of money. Mm-hmm. But even look at our motorway. Mind you, this was made from what? Concrete, originally. Now, even the patches that are there, we are patching them with asphalt and all sorts of... So what real maintenance are we even doing on our roads, to talk of all the money we are taking? I have a friend there, she's developed a habit. She says when she gets there, they know her, she doesn't pay. And she keeps telling, it's not because she can't.
That was a boycott.
I'm not putting this there as a bad example for people to
my
follow.
son has suggested that to me.
She says, you people know you're not doing the right thing. Look at this stretch of road. Why should I pay? And she always passes by.
There was a general boycott sometime back on the Accra-Tema motorway. The toll booth there, people just insisted that they would not pay the toll. My son said, Mommy, so why do you pay it? And I told him it's used to maintain the roads. I said, but these roads, so Mommy, then don't pay.
What are they maintaining?
In the center spread, phase 2 of Obechebi Lamte interchange commences. Okay, so that's why you have to pay the road toll, right? Let's pay attention to mental health. That's a consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Eugene Dodoy. He's emphasized the need for the country to pay attention to mental health. He's also a lecturer at the University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ho. He says Ghana also needed to reach out to people whose work predisposed them to suicide. More on that in the center spread. Let's see on the back page. Obuasi Rotary Club assists 20 communities. Children Believe supports flood victims in Saboba district. It's a non-governmental organization and it's called Children Believe. They presented assorted food items to victims of last year's floods in Saboba district in northern Ghana. Well, we thank them when we forget, because we just simply tell the stories and we make noise and then we go and sleep. But after a year, they still remembered the victims and they've made some presentation to them. That's what I'll highlight on the front and back and center spread of the paper.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper now. Jean Mensah as adverse witness. Supreme Court dismisses motion. Then pastor remanded over police enlistment scam. I'll just take a bit of a bite at this. One pastor, Joshua Asante of the Lifelong Chapel at the border town of Nive in the Volta region, was on Monday remanded by the whole circuit court in connection with the police enlistment scam. Now, Pastor Asante, 39, allegedly posed as a police detective and swindled a senior high school leaver of 4,450 Ghana cedis under the pretext of enlisting her into the Ghana Police Service. I just bring it up because now we've come to know the reality that even the men of God or purported men of God are also in this scamming, involved in this scamming activity. If the men of God, men of the cloth are doing this, then...
When I first saw the headline, I thought, maybe there's a big police officer in his church, and he probably promised people that he would get this big so-called police officer to get them enlisted. But To actually pretend that you are the policeman. That one, dear, he meant to do it.
As for the legal consequences, I can only pray for him. 853,009 math sets, calculators to be distributed to 2021 WASI candidates, and the energy minister designate has actually been talking about that. My only concern there, when were these supposed to be distributed?
Before the examination, but the
where are
first
we now?
consignment came after the examination.
And the blame was put on COVID. COVID creates some convenience, though. You can always blame everything.
No, but they did stop the children from writing the exam.
Bit is, when were they supposed to be delivered?
Uh-huh.
Marital pressures, and this one, a great concern for me. Marital pressures, COVID-19 complications, cause of police suicide.
Oh.
I'll get into that story, should we have enough time. Government to expand agric mechanization centers. Stakeholders in education from 24 countries hold online forum on peace. That's in the center spread of the paper. Let's do some sports on the back page. Africa under 20 Nations Cup satellites in flying start after that thumping victory over their Tanzanian counterparts. Then Golshai Oli beat Sharks. I think right now, while I'm a solid Kumasi Asante Kotoko fan, I think the team that is really, really on fire is Accra Great Olympics. Oligbogbo. As for a certain heart of oak, the oak tree is rotting.
The has. I've gone to Karela.
You will not cross the Ankobra.
I have crossed already. I have crossed that. The people love me.
Hey.
Yes. I am part of them now.
I have to speak to Georgiado about this. Let's check out the Finder.
Yeah, front page of the Finder newspaper. Dr. Baumia's brilliance compelled Dr. Farijan into the witness box, not subpoena. That's according to Kojo Ponkrema, who is one of the spokesperson for the second respondent in this election petition. 542 succumbed to COVID-19, 33 others in critical condition. Well, there's good news and bad news. Good news is that those in critical condition, if you look at the Ghana Health Service website, the figure has gone down to 29, so not what the 33 that the paper is reporting. However, the deaths gone up, 561, again, not the 542, so figures keep changing real quick. Mahama failed to adduce evidence and show how it will help resolve the case, according to the Supreme Court. They've got the picture of the Chief Justice, Enini Yeboah, who is part of the 7-member panel, in fact, presiding. Ex-President Mahama files 2 more applications on the back of the decisions so far. The one is a review. The review is actually not on yesterday's application that was dismissed. It's on the 11th February ruling, which was to the effect that you cannot compel a party to a case to adduce evidence. Remember that decision that said they could not compel the Electoral Commission's witness, which is Madam Jean Mensah, to give testimony. That is the decision that they are seeking a review on. And the date is on Thursday. The date is on Thursday. But the schedule that the court has given, tomorrow is the closing arguments. You must file, they said, on or by tomorrow. Today, Wednesday. Yes. And then tomorrow, Thursday, court was going to hear highlights of those arguments. But this review has also been scheduled for tomorrow. I thought we were going to have like a very short day tomorrow. It looks like it's going to go very long because they have to hear the review.
Well, it appears this case is really, at some point, you begin to wonder whether it's closing immediately.
Well,
because if you look at the dynamics and what the NDC wants to do, even subsequent to yesterday's ruling, then you begin to wonder the review they are seeking and all of that. We'll just wait and see what happens tomorrow in the coming days.
Tomorrow, Thursday. Okay. Well, Cocobot CEO celebrate Chocolate Week with school children in Tana North. 1,200 kilometers asphalt overlays completed in 2020. And that sums it up. What's on the front page of the Finder newspaper.
Let's do the daily guide now. Judges have predetermined agenda. Dr. Dominic Ayene bringing up this one. And he said quite a few things that have
yesterday, the
got a few
ball.
tongues wagging. Yesterday, he just couldn't hold it. He just couldn't hold it. At a point in time, this was in the early days of the court case, you know, he got a bit of a tongue lashing from, I've forgotten which one of the judges. At a point in time, pulled him aside and, you know.
His name was also mentioned, yeah.
Yeah. And he was directly, you know, addressed in that bit, though there was a friendly side to it. But obviously not enthused by, you know, proceedings so far.
Hang on, oh. Did I ever mention Dr. Dominic Ayeni? It started with Frank Davis. And I know that Marietta was also mentioned.
In court, not one of the out of court.
Oh, okay.
It's an encounter in court, actually. Interchanges major roads for second term. Then election petition, Mahama dismissed 7-0, can't reopen case. And fight erupts over gaming license. In other stories, check this out on page 6. Edubuahin acts as president's rep at Finance Ministry, Charles Edubuahin, who's himself a former deputy finance minister. You can't compare 2013 and 2021 petitions. That's according to Kojopong Kroma. But on page 5, you can check out this international story. Dubai ruler's daughter reveals hostage ordeal. You can check out those details there, as well as Myanmar's San Suu Kyi facing new charges amid protests. On the back page, why Papich, Hostadane Papich, dumped Hartevok?
Oh.
Your Hartevok?
He should move
Why
on.
is he dumping, though? But some have said that he was just using the team as a stepping stone. He had his agenda. And
but even the national team, didn't we have Milo and all those people come?
Rivich and all of
It is normal.
Sir.
You should move on. We've moved on.
Okay.
I have even moved on to Karela.
Obama Yang caught over COVID-19 tattoo. Let's get on to other stories.
So the senior high school placement is actually out on Sunday. I'll come back and do a bit of the story in the Daily Graphic newspaper. But let's do the Ghanaian Publisher, front page of the Ghanaian Publisher. Justices have predetermined agenda. Mahama's lawyer alleges and accuses journalist of bias. Oforiatta's medical bills, not on government, according to his aide. I'm fair and firm in what I do. That's Esla Uswe-Kofo, the Minister Designate for Communication and Digitalization. Okay. State funding will stop monetization of Ghana politics. That's Dan Butcher, also speaking as he appeared before the Verton Committee of Parliament. That's it for the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper by way of what's on the front page.
Well, from the Ghanaian Publisher, let's do the new Publisher. And it says, weed smoker caught bonking police chief's wife. You know, it reminds me of a story in the times where a man was arrested for attempting to smuggle weed into the Yankafo prison. And Charlie, people get him more. Hey.
But they need to the way they put the thing.
Charlie? I will. Let me leave it at that. If you want to get the details, grab a copy of that paper. John Mahama Eyes 2024. Sexual assault robbery at SHS in Ashanti. Ghana Immigration Service gets new PRO for Greater Accra. And Jean swerves Chachu again. Won't go into the box. That's it.
Okay, let me bring you the Business and Financial Times front page. Transparency issues stain world-class COVID-19 tests regime at KIA. Aviation experts says and over $15 million raked in so far by operator. Lots of questions around this that even the policymakers cannot directly give answers to. Prioritize remaining $750 million debts, gets us cheaper gas. That's IPPs to government. And selecting nuclear energy vendor is top of my agenda. That's Energy Minister Designate there. And they picked this from his appearance before the Appointments Committee. Okay.
I'll wrap up with this one, going to the passage of time. The Daily Dispatch, Supreme Court throws out Mahama's request, but he files 2 new applications. That's the banner headline. That's it basically there. It also talks about, there's a bit of an infograph there. Ghana ethnic groups with population above 500,000. You can catch that on the front page and on the back page of the Daily Dispatch. A lot happened on January 7, 2021, and none of us can be proud of them. That is the Communications Minister Designate Ursula Owusu Ekofo. That's it for me.
Okay. We will now get into some details. This bit about the senior high school placement out on Sunday. They say this year's placements will be out. And this is according to the Director General of the Ghana Education Service. It would cover candidates both school and private who wrote the BCE in 2020, those who didn't get the calculators, as well as, no, not calculators, mathematical sets, isn't it? It was meant for them, Anna. I think so. As well as other entrants in all about 525,000 qualified BCE candidates will be seeking placement into 721 senior high technical and vocational schools of their choices, which have declared about 535,000 vacancies. Listen, there's COVID around. I do hope and pray that we won't see the excesses that we see every year with this placement and people assembling, because that's should be out of the game. So hopefully they've done a fantastic job and corrected the errors from previous years, and we can have a peaceful placement for once. Yeah.
Without all the wahala.
So if you have a child who's looking to getting placed, please be mindful or minded. The placement is out on Sunday. Look out for it.
Well, we've been talking about the security situation in the country and some of the robberies going on. This one on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times says, commercial tricycle drivers, popularly known as Mahama Kambu or Pragya, at Sandama in the Bosa North municipality of the Upper East region, have petitioned the assembly over the spate of armed robberies in the area. The drivers said they had become the target of armed robbers, compelling them to seek the support of the municipal assembly in ensuring their safety as they go about their commercial activities. And it's becoming dire, from tomato sellers to people in ambulances to everybody, basically. It's becoming quite a situation here. Hopefully the police, I know the police to civilian ratio is not what it ought to be, but hopefully we can make some strides in that regard. But I'll wrap up with this one from the Ghanaian Times. It's in the center spread. Marital pressures, COVID-19 complications, cause of police suicide. And the increasing suicide cases currently being recorded in the police service have been attributed to psychological effects, including post-COVID complications and marital pressures. Suicide notes recovered at the scenes of most of the incidents show that the triggering causes of the act were not work-related, but rather as a result of pressures from the home and also COVID-19 complications. How sure can they be about? Because if it's a stressful work situation, and our police, it is a stressful work situation. Yes, COVID-19 complications and all of that. But what stands out for me here, I've also read that some people recover from COVID or they get past the critical stage and it affects their thinking, their psychological, makeup and everything. And it appears in their case, at least per what the police service is telling us, that is a reality. Another reason you don't want to catch COVID. Another good reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie. Oh.
But what kind of disease cry is this? It has so many.
Evil.
First of all, it's messing up all your organs and it leaves you with all kinds of. What kind of illness is this?
Somebody,
like a disease from hell.
I think, was it something somebody outlined, shared what it actually does, at least what has been discovered so far, including what you talk about, the lungs thing, and then kidney as well. Some people actually go on dialysis.
Don't leave anything out. It affects everything.
Yeah, it's just, it's an evil disease. I think that's the perfect description for it. When the Most Reverend Palmer Buckle said it, that's what it is. We've heard other people, Professor Hesse also said it's an evil disease. It is evil. I mean, you recover from it, you are well, and the next minute, you're down again. Not COVID, but what it actually left you with. and it could even kill you sometimes. Let's use the remaining 1 minute or so to do myjoyonline.com, I think. Can we?
All right, so let's get to it. Mahama files 2 new applications following Supreme Court's dismissal of motion to reopen case. Looks like this is quite a tug of law, right? You push, I pull. This one says, you cannot reopen your case. Supreme Court dismisses Mahama's application. Stalled calf maternity and children's block to be pulled down. That's something we'll be getting into. Delay in paying contractors was due to impact of COVID-19. That's Roads Minister Designate Kwesi Amoakwata. Election petition, there's a predetermined agenda to rule against petitioner Dominic Ayine, saying that, and 13 more die of COVID-19, active cases now 7,850. As we wrap up, initiate response protocols for Ebola. GHS directs all hospitals. Vigilantism law will not work. Adam Bona saying so. And finally, 1,200 kilometers of asphalt overlays completed in 2020. Again, according to Amoako Atta. Well,
Yeah, one of the things we'll be doing on the show, as Ben did mention, the Komfo Teaching Hospital mother and baby unit, the maternity block, the over 45 years, 46, 47, and you will not be wrong. We're passionate about it because Kwame Boateng first told the story of how children were dying and this block was just sitting there and nothing was happening to it. There was an intervention. Together with the First Lady, we were able to raise quite a lot of money. Save Them Now, remember? That was the fundraiser. And then there was a building that was put up, beautiful facility, mother and baby units at the Komfo Teaching Hospital. But this other project also needed to be completed because this one is way bigger. What do we hear now? They have to pull down that entire structure. And this will be the second time that we're doing that.
and you know, just to add this, one of the areas in our health sector or health system where we're lacking the most, it's pediatric or, you know, areas targeted at children. So this is particularly important because, I mean, what we are losing here is massive. I think here in Accra, I know the Princess Marie-Louise.
Charlie's not enough.
You know, and a few, but and what the First Lady has been doing, but it is woefully inadequate.
Absolutely.
So when this happens, it's not just talk about, oh, another structure has gone down for 45 years. It's about the impact and what we are missing out.
Yeah. When you think about Komfo don't think about Kumasi. Think about other regions as well. We'll bring you sports with Ulrika and Pofo. We have AM Business after sports. Stay with us.